everyone. It is Sunday, time for another episode of Selling Past Your Expiration Date, being thrifty over 50. Hey, let's get my mom in here. Well, that's the best I can do. Hey, Mom, how much do you hate your internet provider? About this much. So Mom hasn't had internet for 2 days. Now, I did put a post in the thrifting board, but obviously not everyone saw it. That's why I wanted to pop on here live and be like, hey, what's happening, everybody? So, yeah, it has gotten so bad. They had an independent fixer dude come out, and he said all of their equipment, meaning her internet provider, is like 20 years past its prime. And everyone in their county area, they've already had an article in the newspaper. They're going to call the news. Mom has one alternative. It's actually a lesser alternative, but if it works, it'll be a better alternative. So I saw that Rick was taking a break from napping. So I hate to tell you, Rick, you took a break to find out that we're not going to be able to do a show today. Now we are going to shoot for tomorrow. She's going to call the new other place first thing in the morning and see how quickly she can get up and running. Now, the good thing being her on the East Coast and me on the West Coast, she should know all that and be like, we can do it or not by the time I get up. So that'll be the good thing. But yeah, can I get her on speakerphone? And that's the other problem. She lives so deep in the country that without Wi-Fi, and she's got a brand new iPhone, we can't even FaceTime because the reception is so crappy. We can only talk like old school talk. And we've tried to FaceTime a couple times this weekend. Oh, she sent me she's trying to work on her printer because without the internet, without Wi-Fi. And she sent me a picture of her printer. It came in 4 hours after she sent it. So yeah. So that's where we're at. I mean, I'm frustrated. Y'all are frustrated, but let me tell you how much frustrated my mom is. She's about this much frustrated. Yeah, she is. She's pissed. And plus now she needs to go to someone's house to print all her shipping labels for Monday. So here's a little tip. This will be the end of the show, but here's a little tip. It's got a nice offer. Have that backup in place. So think about this when we hang up from this very short show. What if your internet went out right now, and by tomorrow morning when you have to ship all your packages, it's not up, and it's your neighborhood, so you couldn't walk next door to your neighbor? Where are you going? So do you have someone that you can go to their house, use their printer, use their computer, and are they close? If there isn't an immediate person in your head right now, you should think about it, because that's what my mom and dad are going through right now. They've been trying all weekend to do it off of their phone, so using their phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot. But like I told you, the connection is so spotty, she couldn't even download the driver to hook up her printer as a wired printer. So shockingly, she found the right wires in her house, but she couldn't hook it up. So think about that. Think about whose house you could run to in a pinch, because you can't just ignore your packages. I've got about $600 worth of packages I got to ship tomorrow morning as of right this second. What if I couldn't print? I'd have to go someplace. So I know a couple friends in town that are not in my neighborhood that I could go over to their house. But what I would do, see, that's the problem though, Becky. It won't tether. She's in such a barren area of it won't work. She's trying that and it just won't work. So McDonald's parking lot. Is there a printer in the McDonald's parking lot? Is there a printer there? So if you do get in this position, have your stuff ready. So get all your boxes packed at home, get your weights, get your measurements, just write yourself a note. And when you get to your friend's house or wherever, plug the information in. Don't forget to bring your labels to print out, spit out the labels. And if you are using a thermal printer, think about this too. If you're using a thermal printer, which you should be, if you're using a thermal printer, if you had to go someplace else, unless you're dragging your printer with you, I would always have a good stack of labels that would go through a regular printer, just in case. I have those. So, think about, we've talked about what to do in extreme measures in the Secret Beach, but we never really talked about what if your internet just went and your neighbors can't be any help because they got the same internet. So, yeah, I know. They're at the end of their wits, and so is everyone else in their area. And the phone calls they've had, the company just doesn't care, and everyone they talk to, they're just reading the scripts. Okay, have you rebooted your modem? And that's all. I mean, my mom's like, look, we've been down this road 1,000 times. This is not just reboot your modem time, okay? So, can you pull it off in the next 60 seconds? Craig said, you want me to put on a wig and a moo-moo?
You probably could.
I use a Zebra thermal printer. I've had it for 10 years. And if you don't have a thermal printer, they're magic because there's no ink. It's all thermal. And you get rolls of labels. And the second you switch to one, now they're not the cheapest thing. You can definitely get a cheaper regular printer. But the second you switch to one, and then when you think a year later you've never bought ink, you'll be like, why didn't I do this sooner? Now, I do know the new ones everyone's raving about is the Rolo. Looks pretty cool. But mine, there's nothing wrong with mine. So, when you get a piece of equipment and there's nothing wrong with it, no need to switch. My poor mother was asking me about downloading printer drivers for a wired printer. And I'm like, look, I can try and help you as much as I can, but I haven't had a wired like HP printer in 20 years. So, all right, Craig, hop in here. You can be my mom for a minute. So I said, you're kind of on your own, Ma, because it's not something I've done. I mean, I can kind of guide her for what she was reading me, but man, I don't know the model Zebra off the top of my head. But as you can see, I'm not in my office. I'm actually at home right now. This is my work table and I work at night. So, but I can, yes, there you go. See, Becky can be my mom's long distance in case. Oh, puppy kisses an added bonus. I bet you my mom would love that. Now, my sister doesn't live too far. My aunt lives even closer, but then I found out my aunt can't print and no one's ever decided to fix it. I'm like, you have a printer in your home and a computer and it doesn't work and you decide not to fix it? Like, even if you don't work online, there's got to be a point in your day, in your week, in your month that you've got to print something. I mean, there just got to be. All right, so I wasn't going to say goodbye. But if Craig's going to come in as my mother for a second, I'm all down for that. I'm all down for shenanigans.
Roy offered his moves in the closet.
Yeah, but I don't think Roy has a wig. I know Craig will have a wig handy. Is there anything I can show you guys around here? Oh, we just cleaned the whole house. Any good bolos laying around here? Well, here's one. Oh. There's a good bolo. You can find this tiki plasma light. Most people don't know what to call it and don't know how to price it. The last two I've purchased have been online. Have been $18 and I think $28, and they sell for over $100. So, she did for like 5 minutes. And the bummer is my aunt needs the money and my aunt has a bunch of cool stuff to sell. So it's one of those easy equations. I need money. I have things worth money. Yay. But if they don't sell, you can't turn it into money. And Wolf.
Can you tell us why?
Well, we're going to do that tomorrow, Ann. So, yeah, we're definitely going to talk about today because it ain't no fun without my mom anyway. But think about think of it this way, Dan, when you go into, let's say Walmart or let's say Target, there is a section for, oh my gosh.
It's the fastest it's fabric.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's really counted as a moo-moo, but I
okay, wait. Does this count?
Much better.
Okay, hold on.
All right, I'll take you off the screen for a sec while you. So think about when you go to Target. When you walk into Target, do you buy aspirin, a boy's T-shirt, and a quart of oil all in the same spot? Nope. There's the automotive area. There's the men's clothing area. There's the medicine area. Same thing. You have a store. You're going to virtually break it down into sections. So if someone decides to shop that way in your store, they're like, oh, I like this tiki mug. What other tiki mugs are there in Jason's store? So that's why we do. That's why we do it. Now, does everyone shop that way? Nope, not a bit. Majority, probably not. But for those who do, hello, mother.
Look what I bought for a quarter.
Hold on. Let me get the quarter graphic. Hold, please. Was it that awful wig? There we go. For a quarter. Mom bought it for a quarter. Mom, you've been going at this with 2 days now with the internet company. What changed? How'd you get on so quick?
Well, I made Big Daddy go outside and stand on top of the roof with 2 tiki mugs in each hand, hoping that they would pray to the tiki gods. And somehow, after he fell off and landed near the edge of the tiki bar out back, the reception came on. Thank you, Big Daddy. Pay no attention to the stuff behind me. This is not my tiki lover.
I try to help them first off figure out what plug goes in the back of the printer, and I'm pretty sure I know I heard my dad being frustrated behind my mother on the phone, and behind you on the phone, and I'm pretty sure I heard my brother being frustrated behind you on the phone. So yeah, it's been one of those days over there. So, but good to see you at Newberry there, Mom. Mom, you're on mute. I don't have my block of wood to bang my head on.
I know. I'm trying to figure out because I did it so fast that I'm not getting you speaking really. You're speaking so low I can barely hear you. So I'm just trying to figure out how to.
Yeah, I'm definitely not on a mic tonight. Like I said, I'm just sitting in our house.
Okay, that's better.
We decided that it was time to clean up all the tikiness and redo every mug shelf and dust them all and redo them. So, the past couple of days we've dusted like 1,200 tiki mugs.
I was literally downstairs trying to identify Dawn doll underwear.
All right. So wait, what are you all doing on your Sunday? Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but Stacy and I are exhausted. These are the days when we hate having a collection.
Well, we're redoing the whole office. So at the warehouse office. So we just spent 2 days flipping all of where Rick used to have his shipping and packing to where the photography was. So we just spent all that time moving stuff back and forth. Hello, daughter-in-law.
Now, by the way, my mom has no clue we're doing this.
Did you get your hair cut?
I mean, Mom.
Wait, no.
Ma, who's your provider? It's not CenturyLink. It's some country bumpkin awfulness. So, yeah.
Well, am I going to get in trouble with Peggy?
Heather says, let's hear a story about little Jason, Peggy.
Little Jason was 28.9 pounds when he came out.
Actually, little Jason was a normal-sized baby.
He was, yes, not a normal-sized baby. But the strangest thing was that he had a beard. And most babies didn't have beards. And that's when the doctor slapped me. I mean, slapped Big Daddy. I mean, slapped Jason. And that woke him up.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that too often. I weighed the exact same as my sister. I was a normal-sized baby. I was 7 pounds, 3/4 of an ounce. Or 7 pounds. 7 pounds, 3/4.
I was cesarean. I flipped over 12 hours before I was born.
Oh, geez.
Literally 12 hours, and then I flipped.
Two men and a tin can internet. Hello? Hello?
You were normal height, too.
Yeah, I was normal height when I was a kid. For those of you who don't know, I was born without hips. And so at about 6 months, I wasn't really crawling. And my folks were like, there's something wrong with our kid. He ain't being like a normal kid. So they took me in. They had to x-ray me. And the ball and socket that is your hip, mine was now growing, but being a squishy baby, there wasn't nothing to hold it together. So they had to put me in a brace from the waist down and keep me in place with my legs out like this. And so I was kind of like a turtle on its back. I couldn't go nowhere. So I was the easiest kid to babysit. You could put me in the corner of the couch and go out and see a movie and come back and I'd still be there because I couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck. And then once my hips grew, boom, by the time I was in kindergarten, I looked my kindergarten teacher in the eye. And then I was off to the races from that point on. So,
well, you were born with no hips and I was born with no taste. And finally, in my teen years, it sort of just arrived.
I was going to say, I grew hips. What happened to you?
I was born a husky boy size, available only at Sears.
Look what I got in the mail from a friend. Spice Girl photos. Yay, Spice Girls. So while we have my mom, do you have anyone have any questions for my mother? Do we have any questions for my mother?
Hello, Matt. Hello, Susan.
Oh, my mom's in the chat? That's weird. I don't see her in the chat.
Oh, I do.
Oh, there's my mom.
I'll try and find the pictures of me teaching my aerobics class.
That would be epic.
You know what? I did teach aerobics classes for about 2.5 years till I had a major car accident when I was 22 years old. I taught 2 aerobics classes a day. I started out as a student and then did the aerobics. And that's when I went down from 295 pounds to 180. And I looked like a skinny little creature with a gigantic head. And so I did, because this didn't shrink. The rest he did.
Like he should fall over, his head's so big.
Charlie Brown has nothing on me. Not the Charlie Brown that might be in the chat, but just the cartoon Charlie Brown.
All right. Now, I don't know. The room I'm going to walk into doesn't have the best reception, so I'm going to try this. But since Lori said that I was like the Spice Girls, when people hear me say that, they often don't think I'm actually telling the truth. And so since we have a little library at our house, since it's clean, I will give you a quick little to show you how much. Okay, well, there's the start. All right, there's all my dolls and my lunch boxes and more dolls. So yes, I do like the Spice Girl. Oh, here, I'll show you their CDs. Where is it? Where am I? These are all Spice Girl CDs. Right there.
A big ha.
Look at that. They're back here. Some more purses and dolls and stuff. So yes, I am truly a big girl.
Colors of the world.
Spice up your life. But to answer your question, here's how I fell into the Spice Girls. So I'm working at a record store in Elyria, Ohio. And, you know, this is pre-internet. This is in the 90s. And I'm reading about this song that's #1 in 40 countries of all different languages. And I'm like, I got to hear the song that transcends language. And it was Wannabe. So I put it on, and all the kids that worked for me, they all liked heavy metal and indie rock and stuff. And they're like, turn this off. The one thing you never do is tell the boss to turn off his pick. Because then then I just played the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. And so I fell in love with the Spice Girls, and then it just drove the employees nuts. And the last tour, I followed them around like a deadhead for a week. Are you muted again, or did I do that?
I did that. I wish I could have seen them. I did watch the movie in the theaters the weekend that it opened.
Do you believe me now, Lori? I would have hoped so. That collection is not fake. What's the most expensive Spice Girl thing you own? It's a good question. And here's the thing. Some of the promo singles I have just skyrocketed in recent years, like a one-song promo single for like $500. And the dolls do pretty well, too. I just got the Spice Girls nail salon. Oh, yeah. Talk for a second, Mom. I'll be right back.
I would love to see which is his favorite Spice Girl, because I know that's going to be something that's very contentious for people as to who was the best Spice Girl and whether or not Posh deserved to be a Spice Girl, because frankly, I don't know whether she did or not until she married well. But still, she never really sang that great anyway, so I don't know what he'll think about that. But I've actually, as I say, I've watched the Spice Girls. I have the Spice Girls CDs. I know most of the songs. But I think Jason could actually compete with Emma Stone, who is a gigantic Posh Girl, Spice Girls fan.
So Ginger's my favorite, and my friend got me her autograph, so I'm always be grateful. You know what's funny? I never even noticed what was signed on. This is when I worked at Tower. So this was a late call slip. And so if someone was getting written up, this is what they would have gotten written up on. But instead, I got Ginger's autograph. So that's probably the best thing I owned was someone thrifted this for $10 in another thrifting group. Someone tagged me. I then purchased it, and now it resides with me. Is a Spice Girls Platinum Award, an official RIAA Platinum Award for the Spice Girls. It's given to a DJ named Lisa Thomas to commemorate certified multi-platinum sales of more than 6 million copies of the CD and cassette Spice, and more than 3 million copies of the CD and cassette Spice World, both released on Virgin Records.
Okay, so you're showing something off cool. That's the Spice Girls. I'm going to show you something really cool that Rick bought me for my birthday a bunch of years back. I was a huge I'm a huge television fan, right? I'm a TV fanatic. I collect TV stuff. The things you see behind me here are tickets to TV shows, sitcoms, and things like that in the 70s and 80s. Well, one of my big favorite shows way back then was a show called Match Game. The one that's now hosted, that they've done a reboot of, but the original Match Game that was hosted by Gene. Oh my God, I forgot his name. And yes, and had Brett Summers and Charles Nelson Riley and Richard Dawson and all of those people on it. Well, when I was a kid, my mom actually wrote away to Match Game and got them all to send me their autographs. So I have the autographs of Brett Summers and Charles Nelson Riley and things like that. And one of the things that Rick ended up finding, and this is really early because we've been together over 30 years, was he found the guy who actually wrote the Match Game questions. And he taught me actual Match Game questions that were given to be read to the audience. Paul said, I have the meanest boss in the world. Not only didn't he give me a raise, but all the time I was asking for it, he was blanking. And
leaving.
This is actually like 3 original questions. And the guy who did it actually also, he happened to work for Mad Magazine when Rick found him. And there was a whole explanation that he sent about how they did the questions, how they set them up, how many got written, how many got tossed. So it's the closest thing I got to an autograph that was near me. Like you can find your Spice Girls like that, but that's the closest thing I could think of that I had that's autographed anywhere.
So let me answer this question real quick because it's quick. Are there any CDs you do not have? Yeah, a few. So I have over 100. Now people go, wait a minute, they didn't put out 100 CDs. No, they put out 3. But each girl's put out 2 to 4 solo records. I count those in there. And then every time they released a single, they released it in different countries. And then each single from a different country had a different song on it. So as a collector, you got to have them all. But yeah, I'm missing a few. But when John typed them out, Scary Ginger, Sporty Baby, Posh, I've told a story before, but some of you might not have heard it. I was on a game show that lasted only a few weeks. And in fact, my episode never aired, but it was called The Chair. And the host was John McEnroe. And the gist of the show was we had to sit for 2 hours pre-show, hooked up to a heart monitor, and we had to sit there. We couldn't sleep, we couldn't talk, couldn't read, couldn't do anything but sit and stare at the wall, and they got our resting heart rate. Then as the game went on, they would give you trivia questions, and they would try and like scare you and stuff. And if your heart rate rose, like in the first round, it had to stay within 130% of your resting. Then it was 120. And each time your heart rate went above, you started losing money. So when you're on a game show, they have you fill out really long questionnaires because they're looking for that funny nugget to talk to you about to make the audience laugh. So the way the game started was a couple questions to me, and then Matt goes, all right, let's meet our contestant, Jason Smith, originally from Cleveland, now living in Los Angeles. Jason, it says here you like the Spice Girls. I said, yeah. And he started to laugh. The audience started to laugh. And he goes, yesterday we had a contestant miss $100,000 question because he couldn't name the Spice Girls. And this was at the height. This was like 2001. So this is at the height of it. And I go, $100,000 question? Why couldn't that have been mine? He goes, can you name the 5 Spice Girls? And I go, yeah. I go, you want their spice name or their real name? And everyone started laughing. And so I went through them. I'm like, Emma, and that's Baby Spice, and Ginger, and that's Jerry. And I get to Scary Spice, and I go, that's Mel B. And then she got married, and she was Mel G. And then she got divorced, and she was Mel B again. And the audience is just rolling at this point. And McEnroe goes, I suppose you like In Sync too? And they were huge at the time. And I said, yeah, my wife and I just saw them in concert at the Rose Bowl last week. And McEnroe goes, do you like any good music? And the audience is laughing their ass off. And I said, without missing a beat, you mean like the band Scandal? Now, for those of you who don't know, he's married to the lead singer of Scandal. So when he said, do you like any good music? And I said, you mean like Scandal? And he went, okay, let's play. So I turned it back around. And then the worst thing was, so I won $60,000 on that game show. And I was the first contestant of the day, came off stage. I missed a question on space shuttles. Ugh, I had to name 5 space shuttles. I named 4 and a rocket instead. I'm like, so I won 60,000, came off the stage, and the whole computer system for the game broke. And it took like over an hour and a half to fix. And so by the time the day was over, McEnroe left. None of the contestants got a chance to actually meet him. I bump into him 2 weeks later. He's in where I'm working at Tower. And I said, hey, how's Scandal? And he goes, dude, you got me. So there you go. There's my Spice Girls game show story.
Okay, and because you saw Spice Girls autograph, I showed you my autograph. That was his game show story. I'm going to tell you a game show story that I just actually told Jason and Stacy with Rick, if he'll come up the stairs. Back in just after Rick and I actually got together, there have been Canadian game shows. Now, my mother was actually on a game show in Canada. If you're familiar with it, was a show called Definition. And it was basically kind of like a Wheel of Fortune version where you had to guess something and guess the letters and everything like that. Well, I told Jason and Stacy this a couple of weeks ago when we were chatting. When my mom was on there, they didn't know what the prizes were. So she actually won her game. And when she won her game, they cut and they said, well, we're going to show you what you won. And then they paused and they explained to my mom, we don't know what we have for sponsors yet. So when we come back from this, we want you to be really, really excited about what you got. And so they came back from it. And my mom was like, oh my, I've wanted this for so long. And she had to do that 2 or 3 times because she won 2 or 3 times in a row. And the first time we actually got to find out what she won was when it actually aired. And my mom was 63 years old, gray-haired, cute little old lady. And what they ended up saying, and look at what you've won. And they cut away to pictures of these women in string bikinis. And my mother had won a set of bikinis and they cut back to her, and she was so excited about winning the bikinis. It just was like, what the hell was that? She also got extremely excited about a set of encyclopedias and something else. But Rick and I had our own version of that. We were on a TV show called Bumper Stumpers. Now, I know that is run in the States because I've seen it on Game TV. And it was a show where they had license plates, but it was just letters and numbers, and you had to read them. So, when you're driving on the highway and you see somebody in front of you, and they've got a strange-looking license plate, and you're looking at it going, Rumpelstiltskin. That's what his license plate must be. So Rick and I go on, and we play our game, and we win. Well, the funny thing was, when we won, we were sitting beside each other, and what we did was we won $3,000, and we went like this. Ah! 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 Because we thought we were just about to kiss on national television. But we can't. So it was like,
in the early 90s. Wouldn't fly.
Thank you for coming up for that. And then after...
You're allowed to kiss on this show if you guys want to kiss each other.
Then after that, Rick was so flustered that in the next game, you had to guess, and the license plates came up to like buzz in, and the license plates were left or right. And Rick buzzed it, top, bottom. 3 in a row, and we lost like that because he did not know what game he was playing all of a sudden. Up, down. That's the... Up, oh, sorry. It was up and down, not top and bottom. But yes, so that's my game show story.
Went back to when I was on the chair, because it was based on your heart rate. Of course, you weren't allowed to take any medication. And so they pee tested us when we got there. Then we sat for that 2 hours and stared at the wall. And then the rest of the afternoon, we had lunch and we could just, meet the other contestants and hang out. But anytime we had to go to the bathroom, a nurse of the same sex had to follow us and watch us go to the bathroom. And so what was funny was everyone was somehow they thought they had strategies in keeping their heart rate down. And I'm just like, just be cool, man. So they were all talking like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to breathe and I'm going to do this and then I'm going to bank it. And they had and everyone else that day kept losing. Their heart rate was going, and you're just watching the money tick away. I'm in the back eating pizza, drinking a Diet Coke with 60 grand in my pocket. I'm like, losers. And we still sleep on the bed. That one of the things we bought with that money was a nice new set of bedroom furniture.
And I'm just about to list Mom's bikinis on eBay. No, I'm not.
Still have the elastic in them.
I tried the show after Mom because they had actually ran out of contestants. So my mom called and said, come up. And when I came up, I was on the show and I lost. And I didn't know what my prize was. My prize was a woman's hot hair curler set. This was where it was when I won the hot hair curler set. Luckily, I didn't show up on the air and go, oh, I've always wanted one of those.
Stacey was on one game show and she didn't win. So her parting prize, and she was already in her 30s, mid 30s. Britney Spears Skechers roller skates.
Those would actually probably go really good right now.
We sold them. We made some money, but yeah, she did not roller skate with them.
I would have wanted, like Elisa, I was just going to say, I would have loved to have been on Double Dare. They didn't have that in Canada.
What? Oh, my God. Oh,
I watched the Double Dare episode of the Goldbergs like last week.
Well, that's quite all right. Let me show you what I sold. I just sold a tiki mug for $200.
Wow.
One of them I wasted time cleaning?
No, it was one of the ones that I can just buy off the website for a lot less and then sell it again. Yee-hoo. I had an awesome weekend this weekend. Well, I'm sorry y'all didn't get to learn about store categories, but Old Wahini Dog and myself will try and be back tomorrow. Like I said, we'll see what happens in the morning. It won't be a surprise show. So if we're not like, if she's not having internet by noon, then we'll try for Tuesday. And if Tuesday doesn't work, then we'll just switch it to next Sunday. But Tuesday, I do want to say
Tuesday, my night.
Oh, no Tuesdays.
Tuesday's my night. Tuesday Dog Hall.
Go watch Old Wahini Dog on Tuesday nights. But I will say, I know what our next show is going to be after we do get this one off the ground, whenever it is. Even though we've talked about it on the show before, so many people are like, what's the blue dot? I don't understand the blue dot. So
I didn't know what you meant. I didn't know when I saw that blue dot. I was thinking, and the thing was, there was a screen cap and there was no blue dot on the screen cap. So I think that's what was throwing a lot of people off, is we were looking for a blue dot like beside our name, and then when I realized it was, it's the circle. Then I went, yeah, that's a really important thing that people should probably try and learn. There's a few things I've tried and I cannot complete them. And I don't know what thing I'm missing to try.
Yeah,
I had 90% like there.
The other day that I'm like, okay, they're all filled in. I don't understand why it's not blue. But things have changed. They have changed what's getting blue dots right now. And so I think what we're going to do is a show specifically called Get the Blue Dot, and here's why. So we'll do the categories whenever we can, maybe tomorrow, maybe next Sunday. And then the show immediately following after that one will be Get the Blue Dot, and we'll make sure everyone understands. So, I see some role playing going on later tonight. I like your hair like that, Big Daddy. Yes. I miss my mom too. Yeah, I haven't seen her in a couple of days. If you don't realize by now, I'm a mama's boy, and we usually FaceTime at least once a day, sometimes 2 and 3 times. And because of her stuff being down and her just being home in crappy reception, I haven't seen her.
And Rick just happened to have a moo-moo downstairs. But it's actually quite small in the waist, so I don't know if I'm going to get this off quite easily, but I'm not going to let it rip my neck apart like the Mr. Pickle that I had. But I sold the Mr. Pickle costume. So
Did you really?
Yeah, we sold it a week and a half after we bought it for $30 US. So I got rid of it because I was like, I want this out of my house because every time I looked at that Mr. Pickle, my neck would start hurting.
Angelique wanted to know if I was going to get a Spice Girls tattoo. So I've been wavering between, no, that's gay, and come on, really? There has to be a line. I think a Spice Girls tattoo is beyond the line for me, as much as I love them. Now, I could take Jerry's autograph and tattoo that on my tuchus.
No, that's where Posh's face belongs.
He is the worst singer.
You said that all the girls had their own albums. Did Posh actually do her own?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So Jerry's are really good, and Baby's, Emma's are great. But Scary's are awful because, a lot of these artists we like, Katy Perry and stuff, there's always 12 writers on every song. But they craft the perfect pop songs. I don't know if Scary wrote her own songs or someone else did, but no one had help, and the lyrics were so bad. Ask me how bad they were.
How bad were they?
So one time, my wife and I were in the throngs of passion, and we both stopped and went, "This is horrible." We thought we'd have that as the background music, and no.
Oh, okay.
No, not
I just went the wrong way with that.
The music choice, the songs were so bad, we actually stopped and went, "This sucks."
But you didn't mention that there was music playing.
Sorry.
So I thought that
Gary Spice was playing.
But you did not mention that, sir. So I thought my wife and I were in the middle of one of our making loves, and we were singing, "This is horrible." And that was the lyrics from her song.
So her songs are horrible, and then when you listen to Posh sing with no one around her as a buffer,
But Mel C was actually the best singer, in my opinion.
Yeah, and she was the only one we saw in concert solo on the Sunset Strip. We were the only straight couple in the whole place, and she attracted both lesbians and gay men. And then Stacey and I were the only hetero couple in the whole place.
It was fun.
And it was a great show. It was so much fun. I'm bummed we only saw her the one time.
That was like me at the Toto concert. I was the only gay person.
Covering my ears, not in front of Mom. Well, I figure it's one of those shows. We might as well just go all the way. Let's go all the way. Da-na-na. Rosanna, yeah.
It's one of the first concerts. It's the first concert I remember seeing. Well, it's the second concert because the first concert I ever saw was, since you talked about seeing some concert, I guess I have to now too. The first concert I ever saw was the Village People. And
oh, wow.
Really not a concert. It was in Maple Leaf Gardens, a giant hockey arena. And the opening act was Gloria Gaynor, who sang "I Will Survive" 4 times. She opened with "I Will Survive," sang something else, sang "I Will Survive" again, then encored with "I Will Survive," and a double encore of "I Will Survive."
Were they recording it for something?
No. They covered the hockey floor with plywood, and it became a dance floor. And so that all of the gays could go and dance on the dance floor. But even on the third time of "I Will Survive," some of us queens were going, "Okay, girl, we got it."
We survived. Can you please the show where they had a song for NASCAR, and they play the song 3 or 4 times in a row because they were filming it. And man, I know you're feeling, because it's the only time I've ever seen that. I'm like, holy cow, this is painful now. Hearing the song for the 4th time in a row, it's just like, ugh.
It's the same with Laura Branigan. We saw her once, and it was like the number of times she sang Gloria in her set was like, was your set produced by, that's all I think, by Gloria Gaynor's manager? Like, thank you very much. I know what Gloria is, and that's enough of that. Thank you.
I saw Frankie Goes to Hollywood in their one big main tour before they kind of flamed out, and they open with Relax, and they close with Relax.
Did they do anything other than Relax?
Oh, yeah. They have a bunch of
it's just 45 minutes of Relax.
All right, Debbie wants thumbs up. I hope you've all laughed at some point tonight. We've had a great large audience, so thank you all very much. Mama Craig, thank you very much for popping in tonight.
You're welcome. You're welcome to my mama's boy and my daughter-in-law and my pineapple and my doggy, my grand doggy.
Yeah, is he sleeping on the couch? Yes, he is. All right, so give a thumbs up for this ridiculous shenanigan fest and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new, this is not normal at all. We actually do usually teach things on this show.
What you talk about, Jason? This is not normal.
But we do like to have fun every once in a while. I really thought this was going to last 5 minutes, and here we are 42 minutes in.
When you just said she wasn't there, I just looked at Rick and said, I should go ask if he wants me to put on a wig. And Rick went, go
I felt
for it.
so bad when Rick said I woke up from napping to watch a show, and I'm like, oh, there's no show. Go back to napping.
He didn't work. He actually didn't work. He was just commenting because I think either Discounters or somebody else said that they just finished doing something with cassettes, so he wanted to sort of replicate what they said.
Okay.
And he had just actually finished packing stuff that's going to be shipped tomorrow. So
awesome.
He wasn't napping.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Good to see you. Like I said, I'll know by like 10 a.m. my time if we're going to be able to pull this off. So I will post a fresh link if it's going to happen.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Angelique Smith's new middle name will be.
And then if it doesn't work, we'll be back on Sunday. We do have a great show on Thursday. Randy Tyrell is back. He was on 4 years ago. And Debbie said, let's catch up with Randy. I said, sure. And he said, I don't know if you want me on. I don't really thrift anymore. And I said, great. What are you doing? He goes, well, I've pivoted. And I've pivoted even differently because of COVID. I said, that's perfect. I mean, it's not just about thrifting. It's about all forms of e-commerce and online selling. And if one's not working for you, you got to pivot. And so we saw Mayor Don open a thrift store last week. That's something new for him. And we'll see what Randy's up to and what he had to change because of COVID. Are we looking at body parts now? You are muted again. You just love that mute button.
I was identifying Dawn doll clothing from these bags.
That's what you're working on.
That's what I was working on. Yes.
All right.
I just happened to have that.
We'll go back to finishing that. Thank you very much, sir, for popping in. That was quite fun.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you around Craft and the Thrifting Board.
Big Daddy. Oh, Big Daddy. Oh, sorry.
Bye-bye.